This short video will guide you through the requirements for completing Theory Task C, which is on Assessment of Learning. As usual, on Moodle you'll find a Word copy of Theory Task C if you wish to print that out and view it for your own records. Let's begin by looking at the requirements for Theory Task C on Assessment of Learning. As ever, you should make sure that you relate your answer to your specialist area of delivery, word process your answer in 1.5 or double line spacing and proofread carefully. Include your name, the assignment number and your word count on your assignment. In your final Petals Theory Task C, you're going to look at assessment. What you need to do is provide a summary of how assessment works in the lifelong learning sector. Make sure that you address the 3 criteria that I'm about to outline, and as ever, you should make reference to principles and practice, making sure that you've referenced wider reading and that you've used the Harvard referencing system to make reference to this reading during your work. You may use alternative ways of presenting some of the information, such as tables, but you must show clear evidence of reading with clear references to sources, and we are suggesting that you use a formal essay format for Theory Task C. Let's look at the 3 individual assessment criteria for this task. First of all, you need to explain the types of assessment that you will use in your subject area, and then the methods of assessment that you're going to use. During this, you need to make sure you're comparing the strengths and the limitations of each assessment method, and during this, make sure you're referring to how well they do or don't meet individual learner needs. So firstly, the types of assessment you undertake, and then the methods that you use to conduct these assessments. Secondly, you need to explain ways in which you can involve the learner in the assessment process. During this, make sure you're addressing the role of peer assessment, where learners will assess each other, and self-assessment or ipsative assessment, where a learner assesses their own progress. Finally, in your answer, you will need to cover the need for keeping records during assessment of learning. What types of records will you need to keep on your learners during the whole assessment process? Provide a summary of these. Also in your answer, you need to address the requirements for keeping of records in an organisation. In this, you should make sure you're referring to the Data Protection Act principles, which will govern the safe and secure keeping of learner records. As ever, there is no set word count for Petals Theory Task C, but we're suggesting that around 500 words would be the length of a typical Theory Task C. You should conclude your assignment by explaining the impact that your study of this part of the Petals course has had on how you will design and administer assessments during your teaching and training. When you've completed and word processed your assignment, you should upload it electronically to Moodle in the usual way. Good luck with Assessment Theory Task C.